Welcome to episode number 312, where I'm going to cover Ayurvedic herbs which are beneficial for the urinary system. I'm going to talk about Ashoka, Bala, Coriander, Kalamegha, Gokshura, and Varuna. And I'm going to talk about their energetics and what conditions they're particularly good for. So please stay tuned. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. This episode is sponsored by Kerala Ayurveda. Achieving optimal urinary and prostate health is attainable through the Ayurvedic principles of diet and lifestyle. This includes staying hydrated, eating a dosha balancing diet, regular elimination habits, and good hygiene practices. However, there are instances where extra support is required, and this is where Ayurvedic herbs and formulations can come to the rescue. Kerala Ayurveda offers a variety of urinary and prostate-supporting herbs and formulations. Their herbs are grown and ethically harvested according to ancient Ayurvedic tradition, are all natural and GMO-free, ensuring the highest quality and effectiveness. Take charge of your urinary and prostate health naturally with the wisdom of Kerala Ayurveda. Visit keralaayurveda.store to learn more, and don't forget to use the code ELEMENTS10KA to receive 10% off your first order. You can find all that info in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. This is Colette for a solo episode today. And in this episode, I'm focusing on herbs that are beneficial for the urinary system, or mutra vaha srotas as it's referred to in Ayurveda. Now, I covered the mutra vaha srotas in detail in episode number 296. And before I discuss specific herbs, I just want to review the basics of this channel. The root or mula of mutra vaha srotas is the bladder, kidneys, euguinal region, which is the groin region, and urethra. The passage or marga is the urethras, urethra, and the bladder. The mukha or opening is the urethral opening, and the functions of the urine channel are the production and elimination of urine and maintenance of the water electrolyte balance. Now, I want to also mention here about prostate health, as this can affect the functioning of the urinary system due to its location just below the bladder, where it connects with the urethra, which is the tube through which urine passes. Now, while the majority of the listeners to this podcast are women, we're often the ones having conversations with the men in our lives about their health and well-being. And I know that I'm having this conversation about prostate health with the middle-aged men in my life right now, as this is when the prostate gland can become enlarged, putting pressure on the bladder and urethra, resulting in frequent urination, urgent need to urinate, difficulty urinating, and sometimes that can mean a delayed start to the flow of urine or a slow flow and dribbling. Inflammation of the prostate can also result in burning urination. Ayurveda recommends the inspection of mutra or urine as a diagnostic tool. And there are some telltale signs of doshic imbalances. So let's go through some of these typical signs of imbalances in the urine. If there is a vata aggravation, this can result in urine that's scanty due to dehydration. However, there can be frequency of urination overnight. The urine may be colorless or dark if dehydrated, with an astringent smell and bubbly appearance. There may be migrating pain in the urethra and bladder, and excess vata can also result in incontinence or an inability to completely empty the bladder. If there's ama or toxins present, the urine will have a strong smell. Now, for a pitta aggravation, this can result in urine that's abundant, and it can have a distinct color, maybe yellow or green or even red, with a sour or acidic smell and oily in appearance. Excess pitta can create acidic urine, which can cause inflammation, infections like UTIs, urinary tract infections, with burning sensation and a sharp pain when urinating. And if there's ama or toxins present, the urine will be dark with a fleshy smell. A kapha aggravation can result in a large quantity of cloudy urine with a slightly sweet smell and a slimy appearance. Excess kapha can result in fluid retention, causing swelling and the formation of stones like kidney stones. If there's ama or toxins present, it will be cloudy, frothy, and with a moldy smell. So let's take a look at some Ayurvedic herbs that are beneficial for the urinary system. I'm going to look at Ashoka, Bala, Coriander, Kalamegha, Gokshura, and Varuna. So starting with Ashoka, Ashoka is an evergreen tree, which is considered sacred in India. In Sanskrit, Ashoka means without sorrow. So let's take a look at the energetics of this herb. Well, the rasa or taste is bitter and astringent. The virya or energy is cold. The vipak or post-digestive effect, pungent. The gunas or qualities are light and dry. And it has a balancing effect on kapha and pitta doshas. The effect on the dhatus or tissues, well, it has an effect for the blood tissue or rakta dhatu, muscle or mamsa dhatu, fat or meda dhatu, and the reproductive tissue, shukra dhatu. It also has an affinity for the following channels: the circulatory channel or rakta vaha srotas, and the female reproductive channel, artava vaha srotas. Ashoka has antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties which help to prevent bacterial infections in the urinary tract, reducing inflammation and alleviating painful urination. It's a diuretic, helping to promote the flow of urine. Ashoka can provide relief in conditions of obstruction in the urinary passage, like in the case of renal stones. It's also used to treat urinary distension and incontinence. Okay, so let's look at the next herb, which is Bala. Bala in Sanskrit means strength, and this small shrub lives up to its name with its strong stem and roots, and Bala imparts this same strength to the urinary system. So let's take a look at the energetics of Bala. Well, the rasa or taste is sweet. The virya or energy is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect is sweet. The guna or qualities are heavy and unctuous. The effect on the doshas, well, it's tridoshic, but very effective in pacifying vata and pitta. However, it may increase kapha in excess because of those heavy and unctuous qualities. It's balancing for all of the 7 tissues or dhatus, and it has an affinity with the following channels: the urinary channel or mutra vaha srotas, the circulatory channel, rakta vaha srotas, the respiratory channel, prana vaha srotas, the nervous channel, maja vaha srotas, and the reproductive channel, shukra vaha srotas. Bala's heavy, unctuous qualities make it nourishing and strengthening for the urinary system. Its cooling energy, antifungal, and pain-relieving properties are perfect for pacifying pitta vata aggravations in the mutra vaha srotas. Infections like UTIs, urinary tract infections, cystitis, and inflammation. Bala is a diuretic and helps to increase the urine output and improve kidney function. Okay, moving on now to one you're all familiar with, which is coriander. Coriander's seed is called dhanyaka in Sanskrit, which means rich. It's a very popular spice, which is also very beneficial for the urinary system. So let's take a look at its energetics. The rasa or taste is pungent, bitter, and sweet. The virya or energy, well, the seed is warming, and the coriander or cilantro leaf is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect is sweet. The gunas or qualities are light and oily. And the effect on the doshas, well, it's tridoshic, but especially pacifying for pitta. The effect on the dhatus or tissues, it's effective for plasma or rasa dhatu, the blood or rakta dhatu, and the muscle or mamsa dhatu. And it has an affinity for the following channels: the digestive channel or anava srotas, the urinary channel, mutra srotas, the respiratory channel, prana srotas, and the nervous channel, maja srotas. Coriander seed is a diuretic, a carminative in that it reduces gas, and antispasmodic, meaning that it alleviates spasms, and it alleviates burning in the body and any burning in the urinary system. It's beneficial in cases of UTIs, cystitis, painful urination, and cloudy urine. And a wonderful at-home remedy for any burning sensations in the urinary system is to make a coriander hema or cold infusion. And this is a great way to flush out any heat out of the urinary system. So what you do is you take 1 part of coriander seeds and 6 parts of water. So you just want to crush the coriander seeds lightly with the mortar and pestle. They're soft seeds, so they'll break up easily. And then add 6 parts of water. Steep that overnight in room temperature filtered water, so there's no cooling or heating involved. And then in the morning, just strain and drink that on an empty stomach. And it's really beneficial to expel any heat or burning sensations in the body. And in particular, in this case, we're concerned with the urinary system. So that's a great at-home remedy using coriander seeds. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is Kalamegha, which is also known as Bunimba, meaning neem of the earth, which hints to its bitter neem-like taste and properties. Therefore, that indicates that it's going to be very pitta pacifying. So let's take a look at the energetics of Kalamegha. The rasa or taste is bitter. The virya or energy is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect is pungent. The gunas or qualities are light, dry, and penetrating. And the effect on the doshas, well, it's pitta kapha pacifying, but will increase vata. And the effect on the dhatus or tissues, it's effective for the plasma tissue or rasa dhatu and the blood tissue, rakta dhatu. And it has an affinity for the following channels: the digestive channel or anava srotas, the respiratory channel, prana srotas, the circulatory channel, rakta srotas, and the urinary channel, mutra srotas. Kalamegha is beneficial with pitta aggravations and infections in the urinary channel, as it has anti-inflammatory properties, along with the ability to alleviate burning sensations and reduce fever. So very effective for pitta because of its bitter taste and cooling energy. Okay, so moving on to the next one is Gokshura. Now, go means cow, and this thorny fruit is said to look like the hoof of a cow. And when the fruit falls on the ground, they can also pierce the hoof of these poor cows. So let's take a look at the energetics of Gokshura. Well, the rasa or taste is sweet and bitter. The virya or energy is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect is sweet. The gunas or qualities are heavy and unctuous. The effect on the doshas, well, it's tridoshic and very effective in pacifying vata. The effect on the dhatus or tissues was effective for the plasma tissue or rasa dhatu, blood, rakta dhatu, muscle, mamsa dhatu, fat or meda dhatu, nerve tissue or maja dhatu, and the reproductive tissue, shukra dhatu. And it has an affinity for the following channels: the urinary channel, mutra srotas, the nerve channel, maja srotas, reproductive channel, shukra srotas, and the respiratory channel, prana srotas. Now, Gokshura has an affinity for mutra srotas, soothing the urinary tract and promoting urination with its diuretic properties. However, this diuretic property does not dry out vata because Gokshura has this unctuous quality to moisten the tissue. So it balances out any dryness that may occur due to the diuretic properties. It's a rejuvenative, for pitta, and balancing for vata, helping to move apana vayu downwards. And so it's beneficial for bladder and kidney infections, urinary retention, obstructed flow of the urine, UTIs, cloudy urine, and for any blood in the urine. Its lithotriptic property helps to break down kidney stones. Gokshura has traditionally been used to support prostate health and prevent the development of benign prostate enlargement. Okay, so that's Gokshura. Gokshura, as you can see, has a real affinity for the urinary system, so very beneficial herb there. And the last one we're going to look at here is Varuna, which is a medium-sized tree, and its bark is a well-known diuretic. So let's take a look at the energetics of Varuna. The ras or taste, bitter, sweet, and astringent. The virya or energy, heating. The vipak or post-digestive effect, pungent. The gunas or qualities, dry and light. The effect on the doshas, well, it's balancing for vata and kapha, but will increase pitta because of that heating energy. The effect on the dhatus or tissues, well, it's effective for the blood tissue, rakta dhatu, the fat tissue, meda dhatu, and the bone tissue, ashti dhatu. And it has an affinity for the following channels: the digestive channel, or anavaha srotas, the circulatory channel, or raktavaha srotas, the urinary channel, or mutravaha srotas, and the excretory channel, or parishavaha srotas. Varuna has lithotriptic, diuretic, carminative, and bladder tonic actions, helping to purge deposits from the urinary channel, clearing urinary calculi, and it directs the flow of vata downwards. It's beneficial in cases of urinary stones, reducing pain in cystitis, UTIs, urinary incontinence, and conditions with lack of bladder control, and in cases of benign prostate enlargement. So there you go. There are some herbs that are beneficial for the urinary system, or the mutravaha srotas. And as always, please get professional advice before taking any herbs, as the wrong herb for you may drive you into further imbalance and aggravation. So please get that advice. And if you want support, don't hesitate to contact me. I offer online consultations, online cleanses, which you can do at home, and I will support you, and educational programs like my Daily Habits for Holistic Health program, the 28-day online self-paced program. And I want to remind you, because it's fast approaching, I'm hosting a 7-day Ayurvedic rejuvenation retreat with Dr. Sujata, a regular guest on this podcast, in Bali, December 4th to 10th. So just a few weeks away. This is an in-house rejuvenation cleanse, which will allow you to leave behind all the stressors of your daily life and enter this healing cocoon of a Mirta Siddhi Ayurvedic clinic to experience an all-inclusive Ayurveda retreat with consultations with Ayurvedic doctors, Ayurvedic food tailored to you, and several daily treatments tailored to you as well. Of course, you'll get your herbs for your cleansing protocol, along with classes of yoga, mindfulness, education, and Ayurvedic cooking classes. And there are just a few spaces left. So if you are interested, please book as soon as possible to secure your place. And you can do that on my website. Visit elementshealingandwellbeing.com and just go to the events page there. If you have any questions before you book the retreat or my online services, please book a free 15-minute Services Enquiry Call, and we can hop on Zoom and I can answer all of your questions. So I hope you found this episode beneficial. And if you haven't already subscribed or followed the podcast, please do so the new weekly episodes can download automatically for you. And if you would like to rate and review the podcast, I would really appreciate that. You can find me on social media under Elements Healing and Wellbeing on Facebook, and on Instagram, my new page is Elements of Ayurveda Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.